Hi everybody, welcome to our first ever I'm Living Proof video series, and I'm going to be interviewing today my dear friend Bonnie Zeman. She's going to be sharing her story about how she had a complete recovery from Crohn's disease. So if you or someone in your family has had Crohn's or some other chronic disease, please stay tuned because she has an important message for you. And so this series is really dedicated to ordinary people like Bonnie that have gotten extraordinary results in their health journey by making some changes in their lifestyle and incorporating the Shaklee supplement program into their daily routine. And so my name is Monica Marrone. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach and a brand ambassador for Shaklee products. So Bonnie, tell us a little bit about what your life was like before you got introduced to Shaklee, back when you were really suffering from Crohn's disease.
I remember the doctor saying to me that I should just try to live a normal life, and you can't really do that when you have Crohn's disease. You have to be focused on that all the time. There's no place that you can go or things you could do, and you can't really lay down and just go to bed, although I did try. Because Crohn's disease is, you're running to the bathroom all of the time, maybe 30 times a day, and you don't go anywhere. You don't have a life.
And how long had you been ill, Bonnie?
About 14 years of really bad Crohn's. I'd always been kind of sick to my stomach before, had a really bad diet, and it would always make me sick. I can remember every Halloween and every Christmas I'd be sick for about a week after that because I would eat all kinds of sugary foods and things. That's when I was little, but then I went through some stress, and the stress hit me, and I began to get really, really sick almost overnight, and that continued over the next 14 years.
And so what kind of options were the doctors giving you at that point in time?
They tried a lot of different drugs even before they diagnosed me, and then the drugs led to surgeries, and then I've had about 3 surgeries, including a vagotomy where they removed the bottom half of my stomach and brought up a piece of something called jejunum. I don't even really know, because when you have Crohn's, you have fevers all the time, and there's always more inflammation coming, and so a lot of things I don't remember, but I do remember that I had 3 surgeries, and each time I was promised that I would be well afterwards, and I never got well. Maybe I had 6 months of a lot of pain, and then the real pain came back again with Crohn's disease.
And so how did you hear about Shaklee? And when you first heard about it, were you a little skeptical?
I had heard a lot of things about health because people would try to tell me, but I was so afraid to leave my doctors and so afraid of, what would happen to me. But when they told me that they were going to remove my entire colon, and I had been around people that had had that surgery, and I knew they never fared out well after that, and it was an icky kind of a surgery where you don't have a colon anymore, and you have a sac on your side, so you don't have any of this same old bathroom kinds of things that you do. So I was not willing to do that, and they said I could only have 7 more years if I let them do that, but they said it would be 7 years of not having any pain. But I had just had my first granddaughter, and I wanted to, I could not even hold her. I was so weak, and I weighed 74 pounds. So I wanted to see her grow up. I mean, that was the one thing in my mind that I wanted, is that I wanted to see her grow up.
I find that that's true a lot of times. It's when people are faced with something that's really just kind of overwhelming and acute, and the notion of how it's going to impact their future life inspires them to make changes. And so we thank you for listening today, and we hope that you continue to find some inspiration as Bonnie starts to share what happened next. So you heard about Shaklee, and what decision did you make?
It was my beautician who showed me Shaklee, and she had a testimonial of a girl from that tried Shaklee, and she was sick like me, diagnosed like me, but she was not near as ill as I was. So I just decided after my husband's a great encourager. he said, just try it. What have you got to lose? And so I started to take the supplements. I want to give a little plug for Liquilia, because there was no way you could get any kind of nutrition into me at that time had it not been for Liquilia. And that woke me up really fast and brought me into, knowing what day it was and all that kind of stuff. It really helped me. And I took a few other supplements too, but in 4 days I was able to sit up for a half an hour at a time. And that was a big deal for me. Yeah.
So little steps, little bits of progress is a good thing. And Liquilia is a liquid supplement, so sometimes if people can't swallow, you're pouring some really great nutrition down into your body that's going to go out and feed your cells. So tell us what happened then over the next couple of months and few years after you started making little changes, incorporating the supplements.
My head came back on. And then all the things that people had said to me along the way about health started to make sense, because all I was doing was building health into my body. And as I built health into my body, my disease began to disappear. So I also, at that time, I had gotten the courage to step outside of my door and maybe walk for 2 or 3 minutes in one direction and 2 or 3 minutes back. And I say I never did anything like that before. When I got sick, we'd have to wait like 2 or 3 days of no food in order to take me somewhere.
Oh.
So I started with a little bit of exercise, because I knew that was a healthy thing. And then I went to a meeting. And so within 3 months, I was off of all of the drugs that they had me on.
That's amazing. That's so amazing.
Yeah, I asked them to help me. I went through my doctors. I asked them to help me, and after about 5 tries, I got a little upset, and I said, "Listen, this is my body, and you don't have a right to tell me that I have to stay on these medications." And then they just told me that if I went off my medication, I would die, and all this other stuff. And really, what happened is I got better absorption of the nutrients I was taking. The Shaklee is such a unique product that when you start to take it, your body is not stupid. It knows what to do with these nutrients. So in 3 months off of all the medications, I have not looked back. I learned to exercise. I learned to eat differently. No more sugar in this body.
Yeah.
So I had enough sugar for my entire lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I began to leave it alone and feel even better and better. I even cut back on the real high carby foods, and I learned to not mix starches and proteins together. That really helped me, because there was a lot of me that was missing. Now, they had cut all the nerves from my brain to my stomach, so I had no enzymes at all. I used the Shaklee enzymes, and I got a great deal. I was able to eat a lot of food that I couldn't eat before.
Yeah.
So
how old were you when you first started making this transition from chronic disease to beautiful health?
Yeah, in my 50s, I think it was in my early 50s. I don't know how old I was in 1983, but I know that I have been completely well for well over 20 years.
That's amazing. And how old are you today, Bonnie?
I am 72 years old.
Isn't she beautiful? And you probably wouldn't have guessed that she's that old.
And
I am 61 as of a couple of days ago, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So what kind of impact has this had on your life, your relationships with your family? And I know you kind of have a mission of helping other people that have chronic diseases. So tell us, how old is your granddaughter now, and what kind of wonderful experiences have you had? She's getting kind of choked up now.
Yeah, she's in graduate school, and she's I think she's 24. I don't know, maybe 23, 24. And she's going to be a speech therapist, but she loves Shaklee. In fact, she began to go to all of the conventions with me, and I'd like to take her on one of the cruises that I win, or one of those trips that I go on. I just love to take her. But anyway, she's studying all the time, and she's going to be a speech therapist. Right now, she's working with recovering veterans. I'm really proud of her.
So I hope you find some inspiration in Bonnie's story today. And do you have any final thoughts for people in terms of if they're a little skeptical or they're a little worried, about investing. Sometimes people think it's more money than they can spend, but tell us a little bit about, you know,
Your health will cost you much more than money, and so when you start to do something like that, and you might just take baby steps because they have a money back guarantee, but don't be afraid to invest in Shaklee Health, because it will. You can always work. You can always do something else. But I went right into the business because I really want to help people. I really want to help anybody who has immune system breakdowns. And we can do that really, really quickly, and you can get an excellent start on the Shaklee products. I believe that was the mainstay for me. I don't think I could have just changed my diet and changed it. Because I can get an abundance of food and nutrients in me in just one little capsule.
Yeah.
So
right now we have a new program that we're really excited about. It's called the Prove It Challenge. And it's a really easy way to get started with the best that we have to offer. So if you're inspired by Bonnie's message today and you're watching this video somewhere out in the internet universe, leave a comment, reach out to Bonnie or myself, and we'd love to share with you what the Prove It Challenge has to offer. It's a really simple concept. It's feel amazing in 30 days or get your money back. And so we hope you'll consider taking the challenge. Thanks for listening.
bye now.